One must speak at times in one voice and sometimes in another, so that our true purpose turns out always to be unfathomable to the lower members. The end justifies the means.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind.
New World Order. Billions of people on planet Earth are living in ignorance. Before your very eyes, politicians are advancing a global plan. Since the time of Napoleon, secret societies have been influencing politicians to take over and conquer Europe. Now, in the 21st century, their work of ages is coming to fruition. The New World Order is about the centralization of power. It's about silencing any public criticism of the system. It's about commercializing and selling everything as a product. It's about letting China torture students and still allowing them to host the Olympics. It's about closing down government-owned schools and hospitals, turning them into apartments, and then letting private companies make profits from teaching your children or selling you drugs. The secret societies and political organizations running the New World Order use various symbols and numbers. Once you learn their secret language, you too will have the all-seeing eye.
we have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
The goal of this Orwellian agenda is a centrally controlled global fascist dictatorship. That's where it's what he wants to go. And this is the structure they're looking for. And this picture, by the way, in the light of events since, is in this book, written in 1993-94. They want a world government, we're only one step from it with the superstates, which would control a world central bank, a world currency which would not in the end be physical money, merely electronic money. We're heading towards that very quickly. A world army that would impose the will of the world government, and a microchip population connected to a global computer. When I first came out with that, in 93, around that time, you're mad. Well, they're saying it now. Not those with a mind open, that is. Under that structure, they want 4 superstates. European Union, that's the most advanced because it started first. Came out of the common market. Just a free trade area, nothing to worry about. All along where it was going was known. The American Union is so close to hitting the public arena now, being evolved out of NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, Mexico, United States, Canada. These are all, this is Big Brother, you know. It's not just surveillance cameras. What is Big Brother? Let's establish that. It's the control of the few over the many. That's not just surveillance cameras. Pacific Union, being evolved out of APEC, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, and the African Union, already there. Why? Because if you want a central dictatorship of the few over the many, you have to centralize decision-making. The more diversity of decision-making and choice among the people there is, the less power you have over those decisions. There's just too many points of decisions being made. Look at any dictatorship. Centralization of decision-making is fundamental to it. Without it, there's no dictatorship. And look at what's happening by the hour now. The centralization of power in all areas of our lives. Just a coincidence, nothing to worry about, by the way. We're talking about identity cards. That's not the goal. The goal is microchipping people. I was told, I mean, we might get to this in questions, I was told by a CIA scientist in 1997 in America, who was trying to get information out and couldn't himself, that this microchipping was now, and nanotechnology has come to the fore since he told me, now so small it can be inserted during vaccination programs in hypodermic needles. And of course Orwell talked about all this, but whether he did or not, this is where we're going. The thing that this scientist said to me, it's not just about electronic tagging, so everyone knows where you are. No, no. It's actually about being able to manipulate you from a distance, mentally, emotionally, and physically, once you have the microchip. The body's an electrochemical entity. If you can access it electrically or chemically, you can play with the body's state of mind and state of physical health. This is a UPI report. The US Department of Health and Human Services said Thursday that it was about to begin testing a new technology designed to help more closely monitor and assist the nation's homeless population. Under the pilot program, for pilot program means this is the wedge in the door, we're going to expand it, which grew out of a series of policy academies held in the last 2 years. Homeless people in participating cities will be implanted with mandatory radio frequency identification tags that social workers and police can use to track their movements. Data from these chip tracking stations mounted on telephone poles will be transmitted to police and social services workers who will use custom Windows NT software to track movements of the homeless in real time. But who cares about the homeless? I'm not homeless, there's nothing to worry about. What's that great line? If you've got nothing to hide, there's nothing to worry about. You're a prat, aren't you? Yes. How did I guess? In what has become a chronic social problem, people living in shelters and on the streets do not seek adequate medical care and frequently contribute to the rising crime rate in major cities. Supporters of this tracking say the technology will discourage implanted homeless men and women from committing crimes while making it easier for government to help them in effect. I went on the internet last night just looking for headlines, recent headlines in this country. Would microchip keep your child safe? BBC website. Metropolitan police officers to be microchipped by top brass in Big Brother style tracking scheme. Microchip tagging for convicts. Because we've got a problem here. Ooh, the prisons are full. Now what can we... let's microchip prisoners, then we can let them go. Mexican officials and police get microchips. 10 years ago, when it was in that book, it was ever so funny. This is what we're looking at. This is what we're looking at. Disguised as democracy. Coordinate 2, the biggest terrorists are in government. 3,000 people died on 9/11. More than 50 people died in the London bombings. Terrible. Outrageous. Hundreds of thousands have died in Iraq and Afghanistan. Definition, Oxford Concise Dictionary of a terrorist: one who favours or uses terror-inspiring methods of governing or coercing government or community, hence terrorism. I think they fit the bill, or rather those that control them. But the question comes, and it's an understandable one: how can the few control the many? There's just so many people. It would be impossible, surely. And it's a good question and an understandable one. And over the years, I've realised how they do it. Every organisation today, no matter what it is, a government, a university, a newspaper, whatever, a transnational corporation, they are structured as pyramids, compartmentalised pyramids. You have the few at the top who know how all the pieces fit within the pyramid, the organisation, and the further you come down the pyramid, the less and less and less people know, but the more people there are, the lower you come down. People like the CIA call it compartmentalization, same situation. So these people here are going about their business. They're not trying to manipulate anybody. They want to give their family a good holiday this year. They want to look after their kids. They're doing a job. But the job they're doing here, they have no idea how that fits with that, or even that they exist. Only they know that. And when you connect these different contributions, suddenly it becomes a very sinister picture in terms of the direction it's going. What they're doing, even people within government, most of them, 99% of them, they are building their own prison without realizing it.
We've just got to not let fear get to us, because that's the control system's most potent weapon.